Hello class, and welcome to review video 2. Today we're taking a look at unit 2, which is geometry. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, that on your formula sheet most of the geometry formulas will be given. Otherwise you need to know whichever ones you don't see on that sheet. Alright, so for example 1, it says for the following points C and D, find the length, the midpoint, the slope of the line perpendicular to that, and the equation of the perpendicular bisector. That's going to cover lots. So let's start with A. First of all, we need the length formula. So it's going to be CD, when you write them together, it's the length. That's that big square root formula that you have on your formula sheet. So it's x2 subtract x1 squared plus y2 subtract y1 squared. Okay, sub in your values. For those who have forgotten, folks, this is equation 1. So this is going to, or sorry, point 1. So it's going to be x1, y1, and D we're going to leave as point 2. So it's going to be x2 and y2. So we sub this in, ladies and gentlemen. We have the square root of 10 minus 2 squared plus negative 4 minus 8 squared. Okay, plug that all in your calculator, ladies and gentlemen, right under the square root sign. Plug everything in, and you're going to get square root of 208, which equals, don't forget to take the square root of it, equals 14.4 units. Okay, there's example A. Example B, we're taking a look at finding the midpoint. Now, midpoint is, when you write it down, capital M. So midpoint of CD equals, and that's where you're given, you have to create an ordered pair. So it's the sum of the two x coordinates that are given, divided by 2, comma, the sum of the y, sorry, I got to make that, there you go, the sum of the y coordinates added together and divide by 2. So using the same ordered pair, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to sub this in. So it's going to be 2 plus 10 divided by 2, comma, 8 minus 4, because you're adding a negative, you're actually subtracting. Okay, simplify that in your calculators, ladies and gentlemen, and you're going to get 6 and 2. All right. C, ladies and gentlemen, says to find the slope. Slope is lowercase. So it's lowercase m of CD equals, when you got two ordered pairs, it's y2 subtract y1 over x2 subtract x1. Okay, so plug that in, ladies and gentlemen, and what will we have? Just seeing how much room we have. Okay, we have enough room to go down. Okay, so what we need to do is, remember when we sub it in, it's going to be negative 4 minus 8 divided by negative, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Oh, 10 minus 2, because I don't have the ordered pairs in front of me there. Okay, and plug it in your calculator, ladies and gentlemen, or use your mathematical brain. Negative 12 over 8. Put it in the lowest terms, please. Negative 3 over 2. Okay, D, ladies and gentlemen, says to find the slope of the line perpendicular. So remember, perpendicular means you need to do the negative reciprocal. And remember, negative reciprocal means to, sorry, I got to fix a spelling mistake, means to flip your fraction. Okay? So negative reciprocal. Okay, so what do we have? We know slope already equals negative 3 over 2. The reciprocal means to flip it. The negative means to change the sign. So slope perpendicular equals, flip the fraction, 2 over 3, and change the sign from negative to positive. So remember, flip fraction, change sign. Great, let's keep moving on. E says we need to get the equation of the perpendicular bisector. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is remember that perpendicular bisector. So the bisector part, ladies and gentlemen, tells me we need to bisect it or yet use the midpoint. So we're going to use midpoint CD that we already calculated, and that is 6 and 2. We also need the slope perpendicular, right? Because it says perpendicular bisector. So we're going to use slope perpendicular, which equals 2 over 3. Now, where do we sub it into? You could do the long way of subbing it in and finding b, but I'm going to use the slope form equation, or slope point form equation, which should be on your formula sheet. It's y equals m bracket x minus p plus q. So the slope we're going to sub in, folks, is the slope perpendicular, whereas your p and your q, folks, is based on the point. So we're going to use 6 for p and q for 2. Okay, so we're going to sub that in. So y equals slope, which is 2/3, bracket x, okay, minus p, which is 6, plus q, which is plus 2. Okay, we need to simplify this, so we do distributive law for the fraction out front. So y equals 2/3 x. Okay, and then in your calculator, go to fraction button 3 times -6, and you're going to get that it's -4. Okay, don't forget your plus 2 at the end. And last thing is to collect your constant terms. So y equals 2/3 x minus 2. So that is your equation of your perpendicular bisector. Okay, remember, perpendicular means you have the perpendicular slope. Bisector means you've got to use the midpoint. Oh, good spacing there. All right, last question, folks. Find the equation of the circle centered with the origin, at the origin with a radius of 6. Well, hopefully you remember the formula for a circle. X squared plus y squared equals r squared. And what do we know? We know the radius is 6. So we're going to sub r equals 6, so we're going to go x squared plus y squared equals 6 squared, and then we simplify that, folks. So we expand the squaring on the right side, so that's going to be 36. So that is your simplified equation. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here ends lesson or video lesson unit 2, geometry. Again, work on your studying for your exam. Have a great day. Namaste.